You talk about a stunning turn of events and talk about a turnaround. Welcome back inside the channel. We were late into the evening, really technically the early morning wee hours, and we are back at it. 10 a.m. here Eastern Standard Time, 10:04 to be exact. Maxx Crosby is no longer a Raven. That wouldn't have gone official until 4 p.m. Eastern today. And at 4 p.m. Eastern today, TREY HENDRICKSON, pending the passing of a physical, which is the operative term here this week, will be your newest Baltimore Raven and your newest pass rusher. Let's open up the guest lines. Let's open up the program. The vault will be live in 2 hours. I haven't brushed my teeth, to be quite honest with you. I needed to sleep in. We went till close to 2 last night, and as it tends to be with adrenaline flowing throughout, you can't just have your head hit the pillow and immediately sleep soundly. So it's been that kind of morning. I'm sure my English will start to go at some point, but appreciate your patience. Appreciate you for being with me. And Sudesh says, all of this is so crazy. Let's go. We back up, and that gets us started in the super chat category and perhaps even sets the table adequately for what we're about to discuss. An unbelievable, stunning turn of events now has TREY HENDRICKSON coming to Baltimore. Rappaport, Schefter, Rossini, Schultz, all of the insiders on top of this. He was the top free agent edge on the market, and he is set now to sign with the Baltimore Ravens. It's a quick pivot. It is a swift pivot, and it is a necessary pivot for a team that struggled mightily getting home to the opposing team's quarterback, defensively speaking, last season. With the Maxx Crosby trade off, that is no longer. We learned that last night as we were sitting down to go live on the collective. Baltimore now pivots, and TREY HENDRICKSON remains in the AFC North division. The terms from Schefter, here they are. It's a $120 million deal over 4 years and includes $60 million fully guaranteed and a $20 million signing bonus for 8, 10, 12, and 14 sacks per season. He also gets an additional $500,000 for each threshold he meets. We're just a year removed from him being the reigning sack getter in the entire league. He posted back-to-back 17.5 sack seasons, first in 23, then in 24. He was limited to just 7 games. We'll get into his injury history in 2025. TREY is older than Maxx Crosby by 3 years. He is 31, and he'll turn 32 in December. He's 6'4", 265, was a 2017 third-round pick by the New Orleans Saints, where he spent his first 4 seasons. He's then spent the last 5 in Cincinnati. The Ravens have gotten to know him well. He's a first-team All-Pro as of 2024, a 4-time Pro Bowler, somebody that has a ton of production. Yes, he has those limitations against the run, but the Ravens don't care because he's coming to Baltimore, and here is the market that was, according to Albert Breer, out there for the taking, that the Ravens went in and ensured that he couldn't refuse. It was sitting between 25 and 27 million per year the last couple days, according to Albert. That's why he lingered on the market. The Ravens were like, look, we got to wash our hands and immediately get this done, knowing what just took place with Crosby, which is why they went to 28 APY. They land him. It's an insane turn of events. Yes, it is. And as a result, there is a lot of chatter, and the Ravens are taking a lot of bullets nationally, regionally here on NFL Network.
This is a risk, right? So I had this conversation with the general manager last night to try to understand, like, what does this mean, right? Okay, so basically what the Ravens would theoretically do is they would take a bet, not a real bet, betting is bad, but take a bet on Maxx Crosby. You would say, we believe his knee is good, and I would bet $10. Would you bet $100? Okay, I would. What about $1,000? Sure, I would. Then it's like, what about your house? Would you bet your house? Like, would you bet all the money you have? That's really what it is for the Baltimore Ravens. So we can all talk about, well, they should have been comfortable. It's a projection, and, you know, theoretically, they knew that it, you know, had some ways to go, even though he's doing well. Yes, that is all true, but the Ravens needed to bet the house on Maxx Crosby, and they just after the medical exams, after getting in there, after doing all the work that they had preliminary work, but yesterday afternoon was the real work. They did not believe the risk was worth it, so the deal was off. They pivoted to Hendrickson without knowing whether or not they were going to get him. And this morning, as we just reported, they got him.
This is, again, going to draw a ton of ire. It already is. Criticism, intense blowback. The Ravens didn't do anything illegal. Did they breach the brotherhood code, perhaps, of honor? Maybe. Sure. Will that affect the way that they do business moving forward? Probably not. I'll have a slide on that coming up in just a second. Diana Rossini's noting that it's been made clear by multiple people around the NFL at all levels that Baltimore had all the information and understood where Maxx Crosby's knee was in terms of his recovery timeline. Many in the league believe Eric DeCosta and the Ravens ultimately just got cold feet. Rappaport talks about the buyer's remorse narrative.
For the Baltimore Ravens, the term buyer's remorse is something that does come up a lot, not just from Tom, but certainly something I've heard in conversations with general managers and coaches last night. To that, I would say the Ravens wanted this to work. They wanted Maxx Crosby to be on their team. They wanted to send 2 first-round picks to the Raiders for the rights of one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. They wanted it all to happen, and when it seemed like it was falling apart, they still tried to make it work. They just were not comfortable with the medical. They were not comfortable that the player they believed they were acquiring was going to be at a point where he could play to the level that they all thought. It all sucks. There's a lot of blame or whatever you want to say, responsibility to go around. But I think it is safe to say most people involved wanted this to happen. They just could not make this work.
And from Andrew Brandt, for all the, quote, team sources saying they won't deal with the Ravens again. Well, yes, they will. I remember being pissed at a team or an agent, but when they had a player that we wanted, we were all good again. The Ravens did what they had to do. They'll deal with any hard feelings. Guys, given long-term Maxx Crosby medical concerns, knowing what the Ravens just experienced this past season and maybe even still are experiencing with Nnamdi Madubuike, it's a smart pivot, even despite Hendrickson's age at 31 and injury history and run defense limitations. The Ravens are going to take bullets because of the optics, because of the timing, because of the intensity, because of the magnitude of the players involved here on both parties. But it does not appear that they were alone on the long-term medical evaluation that was a gamble that Eric DeCosta and the Ravens were not willing to take. Lamar Jackson's reworked and restructured contract is breaking news. I'll have that up on the screen after this from Schefter.
Highly unusual circumstance that will create enormous ripple effects, and nobody knows how it will turn out now. Whether Maxx Crosby will wind up playing in Vegas, whether the Raiders will trade him, what the return in a trade for him will be, but no question that this is a setback for all involved right now, because the Baltimore Ravens essentially failed him on their physical. And my understanding is there were multiple doctors that reviewed his MRI scans. There were doctors that examined him, including Dr. Daniel Cooper, the Dallas Cowboys doctor that performed surgery on Patrick Mahomes and Malik Nabers. Many teams and players rely on Dr. Cooper's expertise. And Dr. Cooper was one of the doctors that reviewed the images where the Ravens then felt compelled to back out of this trade. So there are a whole host of ramifications. Moments ago, Maxx Crosby's agent, CJ LeBoy, issued a statement that Maxx Crosby is doing great. He'll be back better than ever, and he'll be the game wrecker. But meanwhile, the Raiders have Maxx Crosby back in their possession. The Ravens need to move on, and Maxx Crosby now needs to figure out where he's going to be playing in 2026 as he continues to recover from what was said to be a significant knee injury.
That's some important context right there, and the nuance here from Schefter, right? And here's the quote. My understanding is that there were multiple doctors that reviewed his MRI scans. There were doctors that examined him, including Dr. Daniel Cooper. the Dallas Cowboys doctor that performed surgeries on Mahomes and neighbors. Many teams and players rely on Cooper's expertise, and Dr. Cooper was one of the doctors that reviewed the images where the Ravens then felt compelled to back out of this trade. You have to wonder, as I tweeted, if this connects the dots on why Dallas was reportedly out early on the Maxx Crosby sweepstakes. That is some interesting nuance. And this, more importantly, is the breaking news as it relates to Lamar Jackson. You got enough to discuss today? The Vault's going to have anything in an hour and 45 minutes from now? What do you think, huh? Big screen it is. If you're holding, continue to hold. This obviously warrants our attention. And it's a restructure, as Aditi reported, as Adam Schefter has reported. The Ravens have reworked the contract of Lamar Jackson. Sources tell Schefter that the restructure creates about $40 million in salary cap space for the 26th season. It's similar to what Mahomes and Allen have done this offseason for their teams. So as Eric DeCosta and company attempt to crunch numbers, attempt to bring TREY HENDRICKSON onto their books, John Simpson and others, this is how you do it, and it doesn't prevent the team and Lamar from continuing to work on a potential long-term contract extension at some point this offseason. Remember, famously back in 23, it didn't happen until the week of the draft, where both the extension came down and the Odell Beckham Jr. acquisition. So this is your breaking news. It does not, importantly, it does not take away from the Ravens' ability to continue negotiating with Lamar and his camp to get something done long-term. Next-gen retro gaming, a bunch of his wish list candidates. Give me Chubb, A.J. Brown, Teller, Vanga, and depth. And importantly, when it comes to Vanga, who's expected to potentially be around there come 14th overall in next month's NFL draft. Importantly, the Ravens, in the midst of all of this, now have both of their first-round picks back on the table, being that they have backed out officially of the Maxx Crosby trade after he failed his physical last night. Remember what Pete Carroll said back in late December after he made an organizational decision to shut down Maxx Crosby because of that knee injury? Sounded pretty serious then, don't you think?
I said, sat down Maxx Crosby and told him that he was going to be sat down for the rest of the year and that he left the building. Is any of that accurate?
Yeah, we talked before when he was getting out of here that he's been fighting it so hard for so long. He's been fighting this thing for 9 weeks, whenever Kansas City was. And each week he has done everything you could possibly imagine a guy could do to play. And he's been able to, and they've worked with him to get through it. But after an evaluation we did Monday or Tuesday, whenever it was, it just looks too bad. And so, and he didn't want to take the news like that, and I didn't want to take the news like that. And so we just worked our way through to get to this point where, he's been practicing on Fridays, and he wasn't, he'd have gone if we let him. He'd have been out there, and he would not have hesitated. But he knows that he's been. So he's talking about I like.
That was from December of 2025. They shut down Maxx Crosby, did the Las Vegas Raiders for the final 2 regular season games. It was an organizational decision. Crosby was pissed, but it just speaks to the severity of not only where he is right now in his ongoing recovery timeline, and he and his camp have made sure immediately, and I see what you guys are saying in the live chat. I'm not sure why that's the case. I may have to close some browsers. Obviously, I've been doing a ton of editing and a ton of real-time production today, so I might be overwhelming my laptop. So let me know if it starts to shift its way back in, and which will give me a chance to open up the guest lines so that I can go and fix whatever it is that's happening with my mic. 90 seconds on the clock. Appreciate you guys for being with me this morning. Sergeant, did you sleep? I certainly did not. Welcome back to the program. 90 seconds on the clock, brother. What's going on?
How's it going? All right. So something I thought was interesting, it might be part of the reason they made the change in decisions. It might be kind of controversial. Remember how you said you've seen videos of Matabike with the medicine ball exercises, and also that Trey Hendrickson's weakness is the run. So crazy conspiracy theory. Maybe that post on Friday changed what they thought from obviously EDC probably wanted to keep those draft picks.
Hey,
The low
Sergeant,
side,
Sergeant, can
yeah.
you take off the headset and call back in? We can't hear you. I'll bring you back on in just a second. All right, appreciate it. Noah, you ready to roll, brother? 90 seconds on the clock. Appreciate you guys for being with me. Lots happening today. A lot is happening today, and we will be on the vault for our normal time in an hour and 40 minutes. Noah, floor is yours, man. What's going on?
Hey, Bobby. Oh, can you hear me?
What's going on, brother? Floor is yours.
Shoot, I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Hey, listen, I'm going to try and keep this quick. I got like a million points, but I know time is valuable. I genuinely don't think this is a case of cold feet. If we know anything about EDC, he does not like showing his hand. And having a trade like this blow up shows what the Ravens were willing to give up. I genuinely think that once they found out the physical wasn't any good, I think they tried everything they could to rework the deal with the Raiders. But I think they were just dead set on 2 firsts. And it even sounds like now they're still set on that. I think that now, because they've shown their cards, they had to pivot and kind of overpay for Hendrickson. I don't think this is a collusion thing. I don't think this is I think it's just a matter of bad hands being dealt. The team got fucked, and they had to do what was best for them. And I mean, I got nothing else on that. I'm sorry. I just think they tried everything they could. They couldn't get it to work. And knowing Eric, he doesn't like showing his hand. You see it at draft time. You see it at free agency time. He doesn't like showing his hand. I don't think it's cold feet. I think they got screwed, and I think they tried everything they could. Thank you, brother. Love you. Keep up the good work. You're going to be a busy man. Get those ghosts. Get those Celsius. Don't tell Kadri.
Appreciate you, Noah. Thank you for that. And look, Tom Pelissero, along those lines of what Noah just discussed, tweeted that while there has been intense backlash at the Ravens for backing out of the Crosby trade, there's really no recourse to the Raiders or the National Football League. Even when trades are official, they often have conditions that are negotiated, including a player reporting to a new club and passing a physical by a certain date. The result of a physical is at the discretion of the new club's doctor. And ultimately, the Ravens were not willing to move forward with what they found medically. And based on Schefter's reporting, they wouldn't have been alone and were not alone in that evaluation long term. And so they go a little bit older at 31 with Trey Hendrickson, who is not as high of a ceiling when it comes to that player and what he can do for you overall. He does have his limitations against the run. He does have an injury history as most recently as 2025. But you go the safer route. The production is nearly a guarantee. We'll have the pass rush win rate, the sacks, and all that coming up in just a bit. But more importantly, given the high stakes nuance and what was attached to this agreement in the form of 2 first-round picks, including the 14th overall selection next month, they were not willing to take that gamble, to make that gamble. And ultimately, the optics and the timing will allow for this backlash to continue. Perhaps the Ravens release a statement in the coming hours, coming days. But ultimately, they did not breach anything here. This was not an illegal stunt. This was something that they had a right to do, and they made a tough business decision that people aren't going to like. But they did it with their best interest in mind, with the organization's interest in mind, with the defense's interest in mind, across the board. Zayad writes, McFarland, restructure, preferred, can work towards extension. Zayed, I have no idea what any of that means. Dre Dog says this is not an overpay. It's $28 million per year. We had the numbers up on the screen earlier for the figures and terms. Appreciate you, Dre. And if you're just tuning in, Lamar Jackson has reworked his contract, and it frees up a bunch of space so the Ravens can do business by 4 o'clock Eastern today when the new league year begins. Schefter and Aditi both reporting that this restructure creates about $40 million in salary cap space for the 26th season. It's similar to what Mahomes and Allen have done for their respective teams. And most importantly, this does not prohibit the Ravens and Lamar from getting something done in the form of an extension at some point this offseason in the weeks and months ahead. 90 seconds on the clock. I've got a jam-packed room, and I appreciate you guys for being with me today. Is my audio any better? I hope it is. Please like the video, subscribe if you could on the way in, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or a gift-giving membership this morning. The Vault will be live in 90 minutes' time. We'll be joined by Kelsey Conway of the Cincinnati Enquirer for her Bengals perspective, so we can learn more about Trey Hendrickson and what he is bringing to Baltimore. Please, if you're calling in, please do me a solid. I don't mean to come across harsh here. I got about 4 hours of sleep, so I'm probably coming across as harsh indirectly, unintentionally. Please have your audio shit together. We got a lot big audience today. I want to make sure this is quality for everybody involved. I'm looking at you, headphones people. Only kidding, Captain. Get your ass back in here. 90 seconds on the clock. Appreciate you guys for being with me. Sergeant, floor is yours.
Hey, sorry about that. I'm at the gym and I had my Bluetooth headset on. I didn't realize it was causing issues. Anywho, the reason
I got my chance to go to the gym today. If only I didn't have to cancel my 6 a.m. Go ahead, brother.
Anywho, something I thought was interesting. Remember the other day you said that Matabike was doing the exercises with the medicine ball? Here's my little conspiracy theory, since everybody seems to have one. What if, EDC wanted to keep his draft picks? The downside to Trey Hendrickson is he's weak against the run, but you have a strong feeling that Matabike is coming back. Then, in that case, it makes more business sense that Matabike is coming back. You're not worried about the run defense, so then Trey Hendrickson becomes the top option, and you get to keep all your draft picks. So that was something I was thinking of when I seen this post. So definitely makes sense. Is it kind of dirty? I guess I'm biased because I'm a Ravens fan, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, if you didn't pass the physical, it's just like a job. If you don't pass the physical, you don't get the job. I think they have a right to decline if they feel like he wasn't going to be ready as far as where they wanted him at. So ultimately, I think they made the best decision. And if Matabike is coming back, I think that Trey Hendrickson is the best option. Thank you for your time.
Hey, and stay right here with me too, because I want to give a couple pieces of context on top the last 20 seconds here. Look, here's the deal too. You haven't even mentioned maybe the best run stuffer that they have outside of Matabike, and they just extended him a couple months ago in Travis Jones. You've also got John Jenkins for depth. You've got Aeneas Peebles, who's going to be reuniting with his former coach at Duke, and Harlan Bauer, who's the new outside linebackers coach. That's an interesting puzzle piece that you put together there on some of the optics and the foresight, perhaps, knowing that they have a lot more on Matabike than we do. I feel strongly that he will be back and he will not be retiring, as some of his social media posts have indicated. So it's a well thought out synopsis there, and let's see if it comes to fruition in the coming weeks ahead. Appreciate you, Sergeant.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks for the time and thanks for your service. Let's see. If you're just tuning in, obviously you probably know by now that Trey Hendrickson is a Baltimore Raven, and one of the most significant pivots that I can remember since covering this team. It's 4 years, worth up to $120 million. That includes $60 million fully guaranteed and a $20 million signing bonus for 8, 10, 12, and 14 sacks per season. He also gets an additional $500K for each threshold that he meets. Okay, well, what's been up with Trey? He's 31. He'll turn 32 in December. The injury history in recent years has been concerning, and it limited him to just a handful of games in 25 for Cincinnati, 7 to be exact. He played in all 17 the previous 2 seasons, where, again, he posted back-to-back 17.5 sack seasons. That 24 number led all sack getters league-wide. He was the king sack getter a year ago. Obviously, that number was shattered this year. The in-season record that was held for years and years by Michael Strahan is no longer, and it's owned outright by Myles Garrett. But as far as what Trey dealt with in the month of October, he suffered a back injury in the Bengals game against Green Bay. He was ruled out the rest of that game, missed a Week 7 matchup against the Steelers, and it was graded as a back lower lumbar sprain. He then dealt with a hip sprain later on in October. It's a right hip injury during Week 8 against the Jets, and he was placed on season-ending injured reserve in October, and that is the reason for only posting 7 total games as a member of the Cincinnati Bengals just this past season. So, look, the Ravens are hoping that, 1, he passes his physical, and 2, that at 31, he'll successfully be able to rehab this offseason, and that recovery timetable probably a lot more sped up and accelerated than Max's, given that he just had his meniscus procedure done January 7th, whereas this happened for Hendrickson back in October, months and months and months ago. So from a medical perspective, that's sort of the compare and contrast game that you do. If you're also just tuning in, by the way, Lamar Jackson has made some news this morning. Adam Schefter and Aditi from NFL Network reporting that a reworked contract has taken place for Lamar and the organization. It appears to have opened up $40 million in salary cap space for the 26th season so that the Costa and company can do business and get guys like Hendrickson and Simpson on the books, 2 of their big free agency splashes. I wouldn't call Simpson a splash, but those have been the 2 notable moves, along with making sure that you retain Tyler Huntley as the primary backup quarterback in Baltimore. It's similar to what Kansas City has done with Mahomes in recent memory, along with Buffalo and Josh Allen. So that's happening in the same breath that this Hendrickson news is happening, and that's where we find ourselves this morning. Appreciate you guys for being with me. The guest lines are open. There are well over 1,600 concurrents here this morning, and we are 90 minutes out from the vault joining. I think I have too many YouTube channels. I think that kind of dawned on me last night or maybe this morning when I'm like hyped up on kind of an inhumane amount of Celsius intake. Kadri, if you're listening, please just turn away. Dre Dog, just don't even comment on it. All right. And Fumble Flock, wherever you are from last night, I still have time for you. I don't know where you are. You're probably still sleeping because we sleep on business. I don't know what the fuck that means. I've completely lost the English language. Charles, please come save me and take me off my island. 90 seconds on the clock. Guest lines are open. There's a pinned comment in the live chat. I'll have more from Fumble later on. I need to sleep a little bit so I can put him to sleep. Verbally, that is. Charles, welcome back to the program. Good to see you, brother. What's going on, man?
Hey, this cup says everything, Bobby. I'm sipping my tea this morning. Go Ravens. This is what I'll say. Imagine going online, seeing the house, liking the house, wanting to buy the house. You walk through the house is cool. Then you get the house inspected. You get the inspector report. The roof fucked up, plumbing messed up. Are you still going to buy the house? The answer is probably no. So it's possible to like something and then get it inspected and not purchase it. We're moving on. I like Trey. I like Trey for this perspective. He gives us a pass rush. He also gives us our first round picks back. And if the Eagles asking price for A.J. Brown goes down, and now we're able to borrow maybe a second and a fourth for A.J. Brown, or a second and a third for A.J. Brown. All of these moves are connected. So love the move. I love the price point. Do you think that you realize he makes $3 million more than Odafe Owe? Imagine that, right? $25 million Owe. He makes $3 million more than him and is more accomplished. Owe got $100 million contract. So I'm not tripping. I think that when you look at the totality of things, and business is business, man, we would have trashed the Ravens if Crosby would have got hurt game 3 and we knew that the injury, the report came back bad. Everybody was said, well, why did we take him in the first place? Listen, it's business. You wouldn't buy a car with a bad motor, but you expect the Ravens just because they liked it on the parking lot when he got inspected to go through with the deal. No, I'm not with it. So, Bobby, listen, it gives us the opportunity to give us flexibility. And guess what? We got our first round draft pick back next year. We're able to build offensive line. We can get your boy at 14. Tell Sarah we can get your boy at 14. We can get a standout guard. This gives us flexibility and sustainability, man. That's why I am with this. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. Well said. And look at you. You're already ready for spring training today, too. Look at you.
Yeah, let's go.
Later, man. Man,
All
Pete
right,
Alonso, Maxx Crosby, TREY HENDRICKSON. This has been a wild offseason and stretch for both teams in Baltimore. Appreciate you, Charles. Thank you, man. Guest lines are open, and they are overflowing in a lot of ways. So much so, it's probably overwhelming my system here and my laptop. I appreciate you guys for being with me. Let me get a quick read in here and thank Preston Automotive Group for the continued support of the program. They are my longest standing sponsor. And if you are in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle in 2026, I hope you'll scan the QR code that you see in the upper right-hand corner. Or you can just go to my show notes, or you can just go to PrestonMotor.com and start sifting through their site. If you are a Bobby Baltimore subscriber, just know there are a couple exclusive offers that are available to you. A $500 credit towards a new or pre-owned vehicle. It goes directly towards a new or pre-owned vehicle. The second offer is buying 4 tires and receiving 50% off your alignment in exchange. You can contact Preston by filling out this form that you see on the screen. And you can also go to the available inventory section where right now 3,874 available inventory exists for you in the form of available vehicles. You can search by make, model, keyword, depending on your preference. Go even deeper. Year, make, location, dealership. They're all throughout the DMV. They're all throughout Baltimore. They're all throughout the Eastern Shore. And they're phenomenal to work with. I appreciate their support, and I love my 2023 Ford Bronco Sport that I've been driving for close to 3 years now. Thanks to them. Thanks to all of you. And back to the guest lines we go. Let's see. I'm doing it in chronological order. There are so many faces that I'm looking at in my waiting room right now that it's honestly hard to remember what the order was. But let me just reset things, and then we'll go to Robbie. And with over 1,700 concurrents and counting on a busy, is it Wednesday? What the frick day is it? What, I was supposed to go on a date tonight. That's definitely not happening. It is Wednesday, March 11th. We are 90 minutes out from the vault going live in our normal time slot. That will not change. We have over 1,700 concurrents and counting. Please welcome Steve Loop to the program in terms of his live chat attendance. Steve, great to have you. And welcome to Babs on One, who's become our newest channel member. Babs, that is a phenomenal profile photo of you. Babs, thank you for your channel membership. Thanks for being here today. And to the guest lines we go. Robbie, 90 seconds on the clock. Make them count, brother. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Man, this was a crazy weekend, man. I really feel like the Ravens just lost too much, in this free agency tampering period. And this medical physical was like the perfect excuse for them to just like, you know what? Let's just take Trey, because like now we need a center, right? We need a center. We lost Linderbaum. So I'm honestly glad that we got Henderson, even though like it would have been nice to have Crosby, but now we got the picks. So, and then we desperately need them because we lost too much like in that free agent. I didn't think we were gonna lose everybody. Like I thought.
You know what though, Robbie? Like, here's the thing though, and I think people can hang their hat on this from a fan base standpoint to try and cope or whatever you want to say it. How about reason with what's taking place? One, I don't really think any of this is surprising aside from the Crosby and Hendrickson and all this news story. If you look at it from 1,000 feet up, the Ravens lost a bunch of valuable but role players. That's what they've lost so far, aside from Linderbaum. He's much more than a role player. Okay, right. The rest of that list, like it or not, are a bunch of valuable in their own right, but role players. And in Linderbaum's case, I don't think any of this is correlated let's say the Crosby discussion and dialogue point never happened. I think Vegas still would have done what it did to ensure that Fernando Mendoza has a bona fide perennial Pro Bowl type talent, that Linderbaum brings to them a level of stability, durability, consistency. And, like it or not, I just don't think the Ravens would have ever allowed themselves to go and match or exceed the way that the market was shattered by the Raiders and his new organization. Thomas, you can talk all you want. Isaiah Likely is a role player and has been a role player for the Ravens organization. That's facts.
Yeah. Oh, I lost you. No. Oh no. Let it go. Let it go. Oh no, it's frozen. Am I still on now? Oh, I think I'm still on. Man, I really just wonder. I'm just so confused though, because all off season EDC was like, "Oh, we want Linderbaum. We want Linderbaum." I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, y'all. Well, this is crazy. I didn't think I'd be on here by myself. All by myself. Don't wanna be all by myself. Oh my gosh. Well, let's hope this is my show. If it's my show, it's gonna be a singing show because I'm a singer. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, off to AJ Brown. Let's get him. Let's get him, y'all. Let's get him. Let's get let's get a freaking center. This is crazy. And my guys, my roommate is a Giants fan. So I was yelling at him all night. He was like, "You took all these motherfucking players." I was so mad. I was so mad. Yeah. I literally was at my gig last night when this news broke out. I had one more set and I couldn't even play. I was just like, what in the world is happening? But yeah, man, this is crazy. Oh, yep, yeah. Bateman need to walk. He need to run. He need to run away. We need to run away. I mean, hey, Tez did do pretty well. Like every time he needed to step up, every time he had the opportunity, he did step up. I mean, I'm honestly excited to see, the next level that he takes, but I don't know. Honestly, I feel like out of all the free agency losses we got, I feel like the biggest one that really hit me hard was seeing Pat Ricard. Because we love Pat Ricard. Everybody loves Pat Ricard. Even, besides him being a great player, just as a person, And I immediately messaged him. Maybe he didn't see it on Instagram, but I messaged him as soon as we lost him, and I was like, man, we're really gonna miss you. Like, just your personality and just you as a player. I mean, and then I can't believe we also didn't resign Keaton. I feel like that was probably the biggest misuse of a player. Obviously before, I'm saying this more before Derrick Henry was gone.
Have you been
Hey,
on this the whole time?
I was over here singing all by myself.
Have you been on this the whole time? What a time for my
Oh my
circuit, my
God.
power circuit to just completely cut. Hey, man, appreciate you, Robbie. Hey, Thomas, I've had a lot of time to think
This is
about this.
crazy.
All right. You can laugh all you
No, I
want.
can't even hear you
Likely's
anymore.
upside. What's that?
All right,
Hey, Robbie,
I'm gonna hop
let me.
off.
Hey, you're the man, Robbie. That is hilarious. Can you guys all hear me? I just had a massive power outage and a circuit disconnect that just sent me into a tailspin. But hey, Thomas, I've had a lot of time to think about this. And while Likely's ceiling is through the roof, obviously, of his upside and potential, he's been a role player for the Ravens. I had a chance to really think long and hard about that. Apologies, folks. I don't know what the hell happened. Robbie, I am sending a Venmo once this is over. I guarantee that. Okay, we are now an hour and 15 minutes out from the vault. I'm glad that this happened here and not there. There was just a serious outage. I have no idea what happened. My apologies. Back to the guest lines we go. TREY HENDRICKSON is now a Raven pending a passing of a physical at the start of the new league year at 4 p.m. Eastern later today. Eric DeCosta company to get business done. Maxx Crosby, and that trade is out. The Ravens backed out. They were not comfortable with the medical, according to multiple reports. Perhaps they will have something to say about this when it's all said and done. 4 players have left in free agency and followed John Harbaugh to New York. Isaiah Likely, Ardarius Washington, Pat Ricard, and Jordan Stout. Others have went elsewhere, like Charlie Kohler to Los Angeles, Jay Kummel to Houston, and there are many others. Appreciate you guys for being with me today. Thank you for your patience. We should all sing the praises of one Robbie Pate. 90 seconds on the clock. Back to the guest lines we go. God's favorite. God's favorite. Self-anointed. That's a good Catholic boy right there, I think. Welcome to the program, brother. 90 seconds on the clock. Good to see you, man.
Bobby, good to see you again. God's favorite host for the Flex Zone podcast. We had you on before the season. Appreciate you. I've been meaning to get up with you, man. RELAX, just like that terrible quarterback up in Pittsburgh with the cockroaches said. Take a deep breath, Ravens flock. It's only March. We know the Ravens do their best work when it gets to the 9th hour. You look at what they did today. They pivoted. They didn't pussyfoot around, Bobby. They saw their guy. They went out and attacked him. Real quick, since 2019, TREY HENDRICKSON, 79 sacks, 154 quarterback hits, 12.3% pressure rate. Maxx Crosby, 69.5 sacks, 164 quarterback hits, 10.4% pressure rate. He gets to play Joe Burrow twice a year. He gets to play Pittsburgh twice a year. He is still one of the league leaders in sacks. This brother missed a lot of time last year and still had more sacks than anybody on the Ravens, and he barely played. So he will command double teams. He will still do the things that we want to do. He can keep the first round picks. We love the draft picks. We love to have those 14 picks because if we drafted a guy or the Raiders drafted a guy at 14 and he was an all-pro, we'd be crying and complaining. EDC did what he did. He signed, he drafted these guys, he developed them. That's what teams do when you're good. Nobody wants to go to Vegas. That's why they got to pay Tyler Linderbaum $30 million. That's why they got to pay these role players over absorbent amounts of money. Bobby, I just want to thank you, give you your flowers. Relax, Ravens flock. It's going to be all right. We'll do this again. TREY HENDRICKSON will come in, and it's a lot of incentives in his contract, Ravens flock. Lamar also restructured. More moves will be coming. Relax, take a deep breath. It's a long way to go. And we know the Ravens under Jesse Mitchell are going to maximize this defense. Thanks, Bobby.
You just maximized your time. Appreciate the call, and thanks again for having me on last offseason. I'm sure we'll circle up at some point when life gets a little bit back to normal. Guest lines are open, and some really good points there. He came correct. Cole Jackson, of course, noting that the pass rush win rate for Hendrickson over the last 3 seasons is still among the league's best. He was 5th in 2025. Now, granted, that's 7 games, which was limited to the hip issue that he sustained. He had multiple injuries in 2025 and ultimately went on season-ending injury reserve at the end of the month of October. In 2024, that 17.5 sack campaign, he was tied for 4th. And in 23, where he also posted 17.5 sacks in Cincinnati, he was 6th. And pretty consistent when you look at specifically the percentage there, again, of how often he is winning at the point of attack. He may have his limitations from a run defense standpoint, but like Sargent said earlier on, the Ravens might feel pretty darn good about what they have in that category, knowing that I think Nnamdi Madubuike is coming back. They've extended Travis Jones. You've got depth with John Jenkins and the second-year player, Ananias Peeble, who is in need of development and is eager and ready to roll and earn that nickname of Fub as a run stuffer like he was at Virginia Tech prior to that transfer. He was at Duke, and that's when he overlapped with the new outside linebackers coach in Baltimore by the name of Harland Bauer, who they brought in, again, from Duke. Q, the content guy, says, discovered you and Sarah a while ago. He failed the physical. I wouldn't give up 2 picks either. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Go get the ring. F public opinion. We only lost 1 key player. And who is that? Which key player are you referring to? Is it Likely? Who are you referring to? I will stand on that role player label, and that's no disrespect to Likely. I'm just talking about what he's meant to the Ravens over the last several years. He was drafted to a team that was rich with tight ends. Did he have the best postseason resume of those 3 tight ends and Andrews, Kohler, and himself? Yes, he did. But it's a small sample size. He's been a role player. He was not willing to play ball with the Ravens from a negotiating standpoint. He was entitled to do what he did. And unfortunately, that gamble did not pay off. And he is now a member of the New York Giants, pending a physical coming up later today at the start of the new league year. Appreciate you, Q. Appreciate everybody for being with me today. We are coming up on an hour out from the vault. Please like the video if you could. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. And Thomas, you think you're putting words in my mouth today? Why don't you come in and call and tell me why you think that I said that Linderbaum is a role player? That's not the case. He was the one exception in terms of what they've lost in free agency. I need you to open up those ears, baby. I know you can do it today, Thomas. 90 seconds on the clock. Nick, make the time count, brother. Floor is yours. And Nick is no there. What is going on today? Yaga, 90 seconds on the floor, baby. It's all yours.
What's up, Bobby? Can you hear me?
All you, man.
Yeah, it's my first time calling it. Been a long time fan, but I just wanted to provide a little perspective. I work in medicine, so I think everyone's caught up in the meniscus aspect of the injury. I think a likely scenario of what happened was everything was probably progressing fine as it relates to the meniscus injury, especially because Dr. Elatrosh, he's like a god in orthopedics. The meniscus injury probably went well, but especially with Schefter's report that they consulted 5 other doctors, and it seems like the short term was okay, but the long term was a little questionable. I feel like they might have got in there, seen the MRI, and there's a chance there's some deeper degenerative, maybe knee disease, osteoarthritis, something along those lines that the Raiders didn't originally report. But once Crosby came into the facility, we got our own doctors to take a look at it, and then, like I said, they consulted with whoever the Dallas doctor is who did Mahomes' surgery. It leads me to believe the MRI showed significant kind of like long-term damage that the Raiders maybe did not disclose. So
Right, it's great. It's great context there. And this is what you're referring to right here. This was Schefter last night on ESPN, and I transcribed it. He goes, my understanding is that there were multiple doctors that reviewed his MRI scans. We're back to Maxx Crosby now. There were doctors that examined him, including Dr. Daniel Cooper, the Cowboys doctor who you alluded to. He's performed surgeries on Mahomes, Neighbors, and many more. Many teams and players rely on his expertise, as Schefter noted. Dr. Cooper was one of the doctors that reviewed the images where the Ravens then felt compelled to back out of this trade. And if you've been following along over the last several days, Dallas reportedly took itself out of the running, out of the Crosby sweepstakes. Perhaps there is a correlation between the two. Yag, I appreciate your time today, man. Thank you.
appreciate you, Bob.
Guest lines are open, and there is a lot to discuss today. If you could please like the video on the way in, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership this offseason. The vault will be coming up in our normal time slot in a few short moments. within the next hour or so. In terms of where the Ravens stand now, well, Vanga, Ruben Bain, if he free falls, back in play at 14. And remember that marathon draft live coverage that I thought we weren't going to have to do this year on opening night? It's back on the table. And I fly out to Baltimore the next morning because I'm a best man in my college roommate's wedding the weekend of the draft. I thought I was going to have a full night's sleep after opening night. That will not be the case. It's back on as things currently stand right now. The Ravens now have the 14th overall pick back in their pocket and 11 total selections throughout the 2026 NFL draft weekend coming up next month. 14 overall, 45th overall in the second, 80th in the third, 115 in the fourth, several in the fifth, 153, 161, 173, and 174. Those last two of which are compensatory picks, as Jameson notes. One in the sixth at 211, and two in the seventh, which are both compensatory selections, 250 and 253. So that's where that stands. Brian McFarland noting something from earlier on as well. He was asked here on X by Antonio, does signing Hendrickson at $28 million a year affect the compensatory pick, meaning the projected one that would have been a third rounder for losing Linderbaum in free agency? And Brian says, yes, Hendrickson will cancel out the Linderbaum loss for compensatory pick purposes. The Ravens are still in line to get the max of 4 comp picks, but the third for Linderbaum is now gone. And of course, we're talking about next year, the 2027 NFL draft. They also maxed out this year's, as we had on the screen just a couple slides ago, with all 4, 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 5th. And that's where things stand as far as draft value stands and overall compensation there. Brian McFarland noting that a max restructure on the present terms of the deal creates $37.463 million in cap space. This is cap implications as it relates to the restructure that Lamar has done with the Ravens organization. If they added an additional void year, the deal already contains 2 of those, by the way, it will create $39.96 million. So bottom line is, Schefter is reporting, as we discussed earlier on, that close to $40 million has been cleared up in salary cap space that allows DaCosta and the front office to do business today as the new league year approaches at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's what Mahomes and Allen did for their respective teams. It's what Lamar has done for Baltimore. And that is where we are right now as we approach 11 a.m. Eastern, outside of 5 hours, just outside of 5 hours until the 2026 new league year begins. BME 612 says, do we remember Vegas voiding the Wilkins money due to medical? I do not, but I'm sure you've been looking into that today. We know the Ravens are no stranger to putting a lot of weight into physicals. We've seen this with, and why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? This is part of the reason why a lot of these moves, it'd be a lot better from a PR perspective if these moves, these trades, these signings weren't to go public until the passing of a physical. There's a reason why it's always pending a physical. And this was, unfortunately for Max's case, one of those aberrations, one of those outliers. You don't see it all that often, particularly given the magnitude of this move that is no longer, Maxx Crosby is no longer a Raven, but we've seen failed physicals impact Ravens decision-making in the past. We saw it with Michael Brockers. Gosh, you can go all the way back to Grant years ago. That was before my time when I covered. That was well before my time, matter of fact. But those are 2 deals that took place. Ryan Grant was a free agent wide receiver back in, I believe it was 2018, and Michael Brockers was 2020. So this is not unprecedented, but it feels unprecedented given the magnitude of the overall situation, the optics, the players involved, and the high stakes nature as well. Want to say thanks to FanDuel for the continued support of the program. What is going on? March Madness is what's going on. And of course, there's a blank screen up on right now because of the power outage that I just sustained randomly. Thanks to Robbie Pate come on. Robbie is just how about Robbie, man? The 4-leg parlay that they're looking at right now, sportsbook.fanduel.com. They're supporting the program all of 2026. And it's March Madness. So take a look at the SMU money line. They're going to play Louisville. A lot of conference championship games and tournaments going on as March Madness gets closer and closer. Cincinnati at UCF. Indiana going to play Northwestern, and Cal at Florida State. Take a look at that. And then NBA odds for later on tonight. How about what Bam did last night in Miami? That was just absurd. Breaking Kobe Bryant's 81-point evening 20 years ago against the Toronto Raptors. An 83-piece on his home hardwood for Bam Adebayo. Looks like the Heat are off tonight. He gets a much-deserved off evening. College basketball, hockey, soccer, Major League Baseball, you name it, they have it. Sportsbook.fanbull.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER. Like the video, guys, if you could, if you hadn't already. We're an hour out from the vault, so let's cook through a few more of these guest line calls, and then I got to go and do vault prep mode. Jawan, welcome to the program. 90 seconds on the clock. Floor is yours, brother. What's going on?
What's up, Bobby? Can you hear me all right?
All you.
Thank God I got the earbuds in. But no, I need a Venmo too, man, because I was in the comments telling them, hey, say something, man. It's your show now.
Oh, you want a Venmo too for showing them love,
yeah, I need a piece. But nah, man, I just want to talk about crazy less than 24 hours. It would have been bad if we didn't get Hendricks. You know what I mean? And Lamar did whatever he did to the deal and get that 40 mil. I just feel like we need to get some more role players, like you said. But those role players are the players that's going to have to be Ravens and stick their face in there. We need tacklers. We let go of a lot of tacklers, I feel like. Charlie Kolar was sticking his face in there on special teams. We know our Darius will stick his face in there. Alohi, we don't know if he's sticking his face in there, but Patrick Ricard, stirring the cup, stirring the pot. We know he's sticking his face in there. We need to find some more Ravens. We need some safeties. We need some more hitters to get that personality for next year. I feel like that's the only thing we're missing. And hopefully with that 40 mil, we can find some Ravens.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man. Stay safe
Yes,
out
sir.
there. Look like you're getting after it, man. Look at him. Look at this bad. That's a bad man right there.
Yeah, gotta get it.
JJ. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. As we've all learned, too, as Aditi and Adam Schefter noted, take a look. Ravens have restructured Lamar Jackson and created about $40 million opening up in cap space ahead of the new league year, which begins today at 4 p.m. Eastern. Aditi writes they were clearly readying to onboard Maxx Crosby until the medical assessment made the price of 2 first-round picks too risky. And that is where we stand today. 90 seconds on the clock. The new Ravens general manager says that he's ready to come on. Would you have had the stones to do what DeCosta and company did last night after the medical review? Or would you have caved? I know Robbie Pate didn't do any of that. My man stood on business. How was he, by the way? How was his commentary? I got to go back and look and evaluate his ass. 90 seconds on the clock. All you, brother. You're muted, my man. Does everybody's audio, including mine, just want to just throw a wrench into today's plans?
Hey, just sometimes happens. I think this was coming since yesterday. You know, I think, yeah, like I said, because I had some time to sit down. It's like, I think the Raiders withheld information, or it's more so like Crosby just, wants to play. But, those types of players, high motor, even if they're injured, long term, it's like they don't care. We just want to play. Okay, but dude, if you play right now, you're gonna be done like in game 3 or 4 because of the way that you are. And look at how opponents play us. Do you think you're gonna survive that gauntlet? So I'm just waiting right now for the physical to be passed by Hendrickson. If not, we just lose him again. We have no pass rusher, even though we got free cap from Lamar. So the big news that we want to hear right now, I think as Ravens fans, just to be calm and connected, is that Hendrickson has passed his physical and that EDC somehow just managed, to rework an extension with Lamar. I think those are the two news that we want right now, just to stabilize and then just go and get a center.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man. And of course, the news has come out as we discussed regarding the restructure, and now that opens up business opportunities for the new league year, for this front office, the TREY HENDRICKSons of the world, the John Simpsons, the Tyler Huntleys, and there will be more. They need a safety 3. They need a veteran corner. We'll see how they handle things. And most importantly now, you get that premier edge rusher. You get a player with a ton of production, including 17.5 sack seasons in 23 and 24. Yes, he is 31. He'll turn 32 in December. He's got a lot left to give. The Ravens are banking on that, pending the physical. They will get this done, and they'll retain their 2 first-round picks in 26 and 27, respectively. Joe Jenkins, EB, I'm coming to you in a second. Joe Jenkins is celebrating 6 months of channel membership. He says, don't get too happy about Hendrickson. It is not 4 o'clock yet. That is true. That is true. And we've mentioned that a couple times now, haven't we? Spot Rack says the Ravens have processed a simple salary conversion of Lamar Jackson's contract. If it's the full boat, it means $49.95 million has been converted to a bonus, freeing up $39.96 million of space. Jackson is still expected to sign a contract extension in the coming weeks, and that is the key piece of the puzzle here. As far as the Colts and TREY HENDRICKSon, according to Stephen Holder of Indianapolis, the Colts made what it hoped was a competitive offer. They were in the mix as of Tuesday. After the Crosby trade dissolved, the Ravens' offer turned things upside down. The Colts wanted to be closer to $25 million annually. The Ravens came in at $28. That matches up with what Albert Breer heard. His market was between 25 and 27. The Ravens, perhaps desperately after the Crosby trade fell through, went and matched that, and I should say exceeded that, at 28 APY. EB, you with me? Come onto the screen if you are. If not, I got to go get ready for the vaults because we're going to be talking about a number of things, including the newest Raven, pending a physical, in TREY HENDRICKSon, who's been acquired via free agency as of this morning, reportedly, by the Ravens. EB, make sure that audio is correct. 90 seconds on the clock. Floor is yours, brother. Welcome back in.
What's happening? Can you hear me clearly, Bobby?
Somewhat.
I ain't going to talk too much about the Maxx Crosby thing. I'm actually pissed about that. That didn't fall through, but it is what it is. We do have TREY HENDRICKSon. I know, I forgot who you said it was supposed to, it's not 4 o'clock yet. All right, okay, it's not 4 o'clock yet. Piss off. Stop being a negative Nancy. I think we definitely need to go get or re-sign Chidobe Awuzie. For as a third safety, you might as well make that Marlowe. He needs to take a pay cut, put his ass back there, get him off the line because you can't run with the Young Bucks anymore. And we saw how that happened last year. Yeah, at this point, we just need to start making other moves, man. And considering that we got our picks back, I still don't think we're going to get Wenger. I think his ass is still going to be gone within the top 10, to be honest with you. And if that ends up happening, then how I'm overall looking at it, do as much as we going to do in free agency and basically treat the draft BTA.
Thanks, brother.
No, BPA, my bad.
Best player available.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Later, EB. Ricky Scoops is back. And what I mean by that is Ricky Scoops was on top of this last night regarding the TREY HENDRICKSon pivot that the Ravens have officially made. And that's where things stand right now. I thought I had seen, and this is just my limited sleep and burning on the midnight oil fumes, I thought I had seen a tweet that popped up that was similar to his account, you know, the barking dog of Twitter, if you will, that seemingly has all the NFL scoops. I thought I had seen that the Ravens are looking for a potential trade partner, as if to suggest that the A.J. Brown sweepstakes were kind of back in play, but it's not something that I saw. It's not accurate. My eyes are deceiving me right now, which probably makes for a decent nap coming up later on. Guys, we are 50 minutes out from the vault, and Sarah and I have not yet had our meeting, so let me back as we always are, and it will be a very, very significant day of coverage, as it already has been, as we try to make sense of what's taken place the first couple days of Ravens free agency as the new league year approaches at 4 p.m. Eastern. I will probably be live later on today. The collective may very well be live later today. So sit tight, hit that notification bell so you're alerted as to what our plans are. Join us on the vault. A big shout out to Robbie Pate for handling the fort when that power outage took place, and I was down and out for what felt like multiple minutes. So thanks to Robbie, thanks to Preston Automotive Group, thanks to FanDuel for the continued support of the program. Guys, if you want to donate outside of the Super Chat features, you can do so through Venmo or Cash App. The handles are up on the screen. Nothing is ever expected. Anything and everything beyond appreciated. I thank you for your time today. Guest lines, I see you in the waiting room, but I got to go get ready for the vault, so apologies for that. We'll open them up at some point in the near future as we continue to familiarize ourselves with just a ridiculous free agency news cycle in and around Baltimore that has taken the league by storm. Like the video on your way out if you could. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership this offseason. And join us inside the vault in 50 minutes from right now. Sarah and I will be joined by Kelsey Conway of the Cincinnati Enquirer for all things Bengals as we learn more about the newest Raven, and that is TREY HENDRICKSON. Talk to you then.